Why do white people resent black excellence? Let's talk about it.
I have a theory about why black women and white women are having such a hard time getting along, and it starts with a story.
Hi lovelies, you're welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda Stranad. Thank you so much for all the love and support. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. So lovelies, I came across this video on my For You and I thought to share where pan-colored women are all out to give the reason why they are envious of black people or black women, or will I even put the word jealous? They actually accept the fact that, oh yeah, we are jealous of you because of this. Lovely. So I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes.
Why do white people resent black excellence? Let's talk about it. Not all white people are racist, obviously, but there is a specific subset for whom black excellence seems like a personal affront to them, right? It really bothers them when black people succeed. The 13th Amendment emancipated enslaved black Americans in 1865, and then the Jim Crow laws kind of wrapped up with the passing of the Civil Rights Act in 1964. So if we do the math, that's about 61 years in which black Americans were able to strive for success in any sort of meaningful way without like the constraints of the law pulling them down. 61 years. If we compare that to white Americans who besieged a land already owned and occupied by indigenous Americans, we'll put that around 1620 when, the Mayflower came here, then that gives them about 425 years to establish success in this country. 425 versus 61. If we compare those two fundamentally very different time spans, like how much did white Americans actually do in all of that time? If we are to compare even the poorest and most underprivileged of white America to black America generally, it is clear that white Americans are born way past the start line, right? By that I mean, by like nature of being white in American society, you do benefit from all sorts of privileges, and like, to be frank, you're not exhausted by the horrible experience of facing racism on a daily basis, right? You do have a ton of privileges. So I imagine existing in this bubble of privilege that you like totally deny, the existence of black people for whom success is like second nature when it comes so easily and so readily, even though you've only had 61 years to achieve it, I imagine that's exhausting and frustrating. I imagine it makes people feel super, super inferior and hurts certain people's tiny, tiny little egos. And what do they blame that deep, deep psychic pain on? Well, of course, DEI and critical race theory and affirmative action. So I guess the question is, what might help those white Americans who just so strongly detest black excellence? Like, what will help you? And for that, I would suggest like a lot of therapy, like a ton of therapy. And I would also just suggest that we open the schools, right? We teach people history. Yeah, maybe? Okay, bye!
I have a theory about why black women and white women are having such a hard time getting along, and it starts with a story. When I first started teaching, I was in a teacher training program with 3 other women. 2 of them were black and 1 of them was Indian, and we started teaching at the same school, the same grade, at the same time. One of these women, a black woman, completely excelled. She did so much better than I did at literally everything. Classroom management, her test scores were high. She was excellent at literally everything. And something about her excellence didn't sit right with me. I just didn't feel good about it, and I couldn't figure out why I didn't feel good about it. It was internalized racism, but I didn't know that yet. So I had to sit with this idea of her being better than me and trying to figure out why it didn't feel good and feel comfortable for me. And of course, at the time, I didn't know that I needed to do the work of anti-racism, so I didn't think it was possibly because I could have internalized racism. I had to do a lot of study and thought about myself and what could possibly be making me feel this way about this woman. And here's what I discovered. Most of the media that I had consumed up to that point in my life had white people as the central characters. And the shows and other media that I consumed that had white women at the central characters often had black women as the side characters. These black women's role in these movies was to assist the white women, support the white women, advise the white women, but never to rise above the white women. Even shows that were about black women, like The Help, had white women as the central character and the black women as supporting characters. So I internalized the idea that black women were there to support me and to advise me, but not to rise above or become better than me. And that's why when this black teacher was way better and more talented than me, I felt some kind of way about it. Now, I'd imagine lots and lots more white women have also internalized the same idea, and that's why they feel okay stealing black women's content and not giving them any credit, because the black women are just there to advise them anyway. But most black women are natural leaders. Society has forced them to become leaders, and so we need to step aside and let them lead, even if it means checking our privilege and letting them lead us.
So this lady asks, this black lady, are white women really that scared of black women? And I'm going to say yes. And this is my opinion as a white woman who is 53 years old and has lived in the South in Georgia in my entire life. But it's not being scared, but it's a fear. And it's not a physical fear, it is the mental fear. It is what we see in you and what we see you doing and how it challenges us and the fear of that. So we see black women and we see how strong you are. We see you coming together as a community. We see you supporting each other. We see you supporting your community, supporting your families, supporting your children, going out and fighting for your rights, being authentic in your race and in your femininity. Anyway. And we're jealous. I think we're jealous because we would love to be that, I think, and we don't know how to break out of the indoctrination that we have been suppressed by our entire lives. And I'm not giving white women a pass, don't get me wrong, but I know I and most women have been told, white women have been told our entire lives, be quiet, know your place, be a good girl, don't rock the boat, don't be too much. And when you are any of those things, you are ostracized because you have rocked their boat. And that is what black women are. You rock our boat, our mental boat, because you challenge us to look at how we are deficient and not living in our truth, and it makes us uncomfortable. And people don't like to be uncomfortable, and it makes us start to question ourselves, and people don't like to question themselves. We would rather live in our little bubble of white supremacy and what we know and comfortableness. I know that's not a word. Than a lot of people would, white women would, rather than challenge themselves to grow and know more, because it's easy. Doing the work is hard. It's really hard. I've been doing the work the past several years, and it's hard. It is hard admitting some truths about yourself and some truths about yourself as a white woman. So yeah, I think that white women are scared of black women because you challenge us in that way, and a lot of us don't like it. And that's why we fear you. It's because we fear what you make us face.
Why do white people hate black people so much? I have been in situations where I've been surrounded by nothing but white people, and this conversation has come up. The race conversation has come up. And no one ever has an actual reason as to why they hate black people. There's always these, oh, black on black crime, oh, they're lazy, oh, they're this, but it's not actually, there's no legitimacy behind their reasoning. It's just shit that they've heard and they're regurgitating. And so, long story short, it really comes down to there is no reason. It's a deep-seated jealousy, a deep-seated hate that black people exude greatness. Black people are the great inventors. Black people are the beginning of the human race, the Eve gene. And white people have worked so hard to erase the history and erase the greatness of the black race, down to even when things are invented, the majority of things that are invented were invented by a black person. But yet the white race has actually erased the original inventor from history and have put their names on things that they had no business putting their names on.
This is a message to all of you white women who talk all this mess about black women because you know they're gorgeous. You talk about they hair, saying they hair's fake, they wear weaves and all this mess, but all of you guys are wearing weaves. You talk about their lips are so big, but all of you guys are out here getting lip injections, plump lip gloss, getting your lips plumper. Make that make sense. You're out here talking about their big booties, but you guys are flying to different countries to get Brazilian butt lifts, and then you get jacked because you wanted to go get a butt lift in a different country. You guys are out here getting butt implants, butt injections. Make that make sense. You guys talk about how their skin is so dark, but you guys are out here going to tanning beds, going and laying out in the sun, getting fried to the smithereens just to get darker. You're out here getting spray tans. Make that make sense. You guys also are going to the gym, doing the stair steppers and everything else to get a bigger booty. Did the cat get your tongue, white woman? Huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. You guys are out here doing everything that you talked about them about. Like, this don't make no sense. It's because you guys are haters. And you know that the black women are gorgeous. So maybe you guys can, grow the flip up. Because you just want to hate on black people because that's all you've been taught your whole life is to be racist and to hate on black women. And all you white men who sit here and hate on black women, but you're behind the screen looking at them and lusting over them because you know they're gorgeous. Why don't you guys just show the true you? Show the true you. Show people who you truly are. Because you know you love the black skin. You know you love the darker skin tone. So, yeah, be you. And quit hating on people. And then you want to put a stance on black people saying they love fried chicken and watermelon. But who's eating all the fried chicken and watermelon? Y'all. Y'all are. Everybody eats it. You guys just want to sit there and poke and nitpick at every single thing. Because, again, you're haters. So maybe one day you'll open your eyes and see that we are all to be loved. We're all to be as one. So stop the crap. Stop the division. Stop the hate for real.
Dr. Hacker, it doesn't appear as though you really paint a very pretty picture of white people in general insofar as you see white-black race relations. Can you expound on that, sir?
Well, interestingly, you use the phrase race relations. I don't think there are many relations between black and white people. What I would say very simply is that those of us who are born with this pigmentation have certain privileges, things we can take for granted, we have the safety, the security, so we don't want to lose this. Now, this also means that, and here's the unpleasant part, that so much of our safety, security, status comes from putting down black people, saying we're not like them. We're Europeans. We're more highly evolved. You know, we've got talents they don't have. And that's where you get, you know, the flip side of this, which really is the ugly side of racism.
Well, how much does sex and sexuality really have to do with race relations, particularly between white men and black men?
Well, if you take white men and black men, let's take it two ways.
Okay.
If a white man is walking down the street and he sees a couple, a very attractive black man, really masculine, and with him a very attractive white woman, you know, very white, we'll make her blonde, you know. He looks at that woman and he wonders, this is the white man, what does she see in him? What do they do together? And it really drives him, us, up the wall, because she's a woman who could choose, you know, a white guy, but she chooses a black guy. And that really bothers us. And as a result, what we want to do is some way take that black man away, you know, because we begin to say, hey, is she having a better time with him, you know, in various ways than she can with me? And so he's competition for us. And you know how people react to competition.
Oh, I do think that white people are absolutely jealous of black people, specifically with the community, and also with like fashion and music and everything else that is appropriated. But by design of what whiteness is, it inherently lacks community. And I think we're absolutely jealous of that. And I've heard biracial people say that they do see that difference in their own families. Because in addition to European cultures being more individualistic than cultures from Africa, South America, and indigenous North American cultures, the invention of whiteness in America erased a lot of ties to actual culture. So when I say like white people, black community, I'm not talking about like Polish people or German people or Irish people. As I explained in my book, I just wrote the intro and I'm working on the conclusion today. Y'all keep me in your prayers. In the course of human history, white is a relatively new term. As we discussed in the introduction to this book, white is a North American term emerging from the 1600s as a term to justify the enslavement of Africans and squelch revolts from poor Europeans and indentured servants. Before this term, Europeans would identify with their nationalities. The Irish, Italians, Germans, French are all very different cultures. Thus, there is not the same communal tie to whiteness as there is for people from other communities. Further, since white was created to be a divider, a separator, it is not a happy identity. It is not something people want to admit they relate to. It doesn't have a rich, healthy history. Speaking as a white American who has conducted national level research on white Americans, we tend to say things like we have German, Irish, Italian, etc. ancestry, even if we have never been to those places. This is because all white Americans have ties to immigration, and because these identities are actual cultures, they do not have roots only in oppression. Now, we know who started colonization, right? So this is the book I'm trying to finish by Monday and send to the editor. There's a free chapter in my bio if you're interested on one of the unwritten rules of work. The book is predominantly about class, but I talk about 3 other identities that you can't talk about class without talking about these other identities, and race is absolutely one of them.
So I think we should all, as white women, just admit we're jealous of black women's hair.
Like, seriously, lovelies, the idea of pan-colored women openly confessing jealousy towards black people, especially black women, touches on deep social, historical, and cultural tension on the surface. Jealousy may sound like a simple, almost pretty emotion, but in the context, it is layered with centuries of power, privilege, and socialized beauty standard. When white women admit they are jealous of people that looks like me, they are essentially acknowledging something society has tried to suppress for generations. That despite the historical framing of whiteness as the default, the pinnacle of beauty and the standard of femininity, many pan-colored women has always been aware of what black people possesses, be it resilient culture, creativity, or physical, futures that cannot be replicated or erased. For centuries, black women in particular have been mocked, ridiculed, and punished for traits that are now celebrated when adopted by white women. Full lips, curvy body, natural hairstyles, bold fashion, and unapologetic confidence where one demand as too much, unprofessional or ghetto. Yet these same attributes, when imitated by white women, are suddenly praised as trendy, exotic, or beautiful. The irony is not lost on the black community. White women coming forward and admitting jealousy is not just about beauty, it's an acknowledgement of double standard. But the conversation does not stop with aesthetic. There is also envy around the cultural richness and resilience of black communities. Black people have historically turned oppression into creativity, betting art forms like jazz, hip hop, spoken word, or soul food, street fashion, dance styles that dominate global culture today. Blackness is not just seen, it is felt. It has realms, a pulse, a defense that refuses to be silenced. But white women, many of whom are encouraged to embody restraint, conformity, and positivity under traditional gender norms, black culture represents a freedom they long for but cannot fully claim. When white women admit jealousy, it also forces them to reckon with how society pits them against black people. Historically, white women were placed on a pedestal of purity and fragility, while black women were hypersocialized and dehumanized. This forced the dichotomy created tensions and competition between the groups, competing that served with hierarchy while harming both women. For white women to now admit jealousy means recognizing that the pedestal they were placed on were never real power. It was a cage. And while they had social privilege, many felt culturally and personally spilled in ways that black women did not. However, confessing alone is not enough. If white women are coming clean about jealousy, the question becomes what would they do with the truth? Jealousy without accountability risks being yet another way to center white feelings in a conversation about black existence. Its real reckoning would mean acknowledging, appreciating, speaking out against systemic racism, and learning to admire without attempting to steal or commodify. It means respecting black beauty, black culture, and black womanhood as it is, not as something to borrow and repackage. Ultimately, this confession points to a large truth. Black people, despite centuries of oppression, hold a power that cannot be stolen. Their influence, beauty, and cultural contributions are undeniable. For pan-colored women, admitting jealousy is a crack in the armor of whiteness, a sign that deep down, even though tough to believe in their superiority, have always recognized the brilliance of black people. But the real work is to move beyond jealousy towards solidarity, administration, or admiration and justice. The thing is that even after finding out that, oh, I just have to admit that I'm jealous of these people, what are they doing afterwards? What are they doing to, change the narratives? It's one thing to admit and try to like, oh, but it's another thing to work towards being a very real and supportive, in terms of solidarity. You know, I have seen some of these, stitches and clips all over the social platforms, and I keep on seeing many of it, some which admitted and some who do not even want to see the truth. But the thing is that people that looks like me have known this for years, even according to during the time of slavery. You know, I have heard stories of how most of these, particular people who actually own slaves, and when maybe their husbands trying to look at the black woman, they are so triggered and they want to unalive this person. I have heard so many stories, but coming out in bold and speaking out is something I Please must really reacting to the comment from fact this, that, no, from some of these stitches I put up here. And when I saw it, I thought that I was just gonna put it up here. Please leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational and informative purposes. So lovelies, if you've not subscribed to this channel, do your baby girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button. Like, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. Subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that. Like, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.